Hey, a big what up to all the jobbers out there. This is one of your hosts, Denny Lugz, from the DTJ Wrestling Podcast, dtjwrestling.com. Of course, we stream live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in honor of my 35th birthday, June 1st, 2017, I am celebrating 30 years, about 30 years, of watching professional wrestling. And in those 30 years, I've finally come to a conclusion on my top 50 favorite wrestling matches of all time. Now, of course, there is a special caveat, a little special rule to how this all goes down, and that is no duplicate matches, as in no other matches by the same 2 or 3, however it may be, competitors, just because it makes it a little complicated that way. It gets it a little muddy on kind of where you rank everything, and if you know, there's some feuds where I like 4 or 5 matches from the feud, and it's kind of like it starts to bog down the list a little bit. So I will, however, include some of those duplicate matches, maybe one that I would have liked to have included. If not for the rule, I will mention it along the way as we go. First, I have a couple honorable mentions that, for a specific reason or two, just do not make this list. They're just unrankable for me at this point, and I just need to mention them, and let's get them out of the way. All right, first off, we have the Macho Man Randy Savage defending his WWF Championship against the Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam 1992. As far as I can remember, this was the first match that I ever said was my favorite wrestling match. It's just the first one I have in my head that I remember thinking, like, wow, that was an epic long match. I know it's kind of funny now because it's okay. It holds up okay. It has a good storyline. It's kind of like a Who Sold Out to Mr. Perfect with Ric Flair kind of thing. And as it turns out, nobody did, and they were both babyface. And it kind of ended in a little bit of a schmoz DQ deal with Perfect and Flair. But you know what? The match went pretty long, 25, 30 minutes. It just, for me, was one of the first like really long matches I remember seeing when I was a kid. So when asked, or when I had to think about what's my favorite match, that was just the first one that came to mind. I just remember really loving that match when I was a kid. And it's surprising because I really don't care for the Warrior at all. I love Mach. But it's just one of those things. That's just how it was back then. And it still has a small place in my heart, but I can't really rank it these days. And you know what? That match at WrestleMania 7... fucking overrated. I don't even want to hear it. All right, next up we have Bret Hart defending his WWF Championship against Shawn Michaels in the first ever 1-hour-long Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12. Now, when I first saw this in 1996, this became my favorite match. This was my first real, true favorite. Like, I wore this on my sleeve. I touted this that, you know, these were my 2 favorite wrestlers at the time, and they went out there and they wrestled for an hour, and it was, again, sticking with my affinity for the long, epic style matches. This was fucking amazing because there was nothing like it at the time. It was the longest match I had ever seen. To me, it blew me away at the time. It's just funny how it doesn't hold up so much today. If you made that match into a 20-minute match, it would be one of the best matches of all time today. It would still hold up. But I give them so much credit for dragging it out and making it work for the hour that it did. And the last 5 minutes of the hour and then the extra 5 minutes, it was crazy. This is dramatic, like top-level WWE stuff. So I got to mention it just as, you know, one of the original favorites I ever had. But like I said, like the last match, it just doesn't hold up today for me. I probably wouldn't really ever watch it again. All right, and the third and final honorable mention here I got to mention, a little redundant, John Cena defending his WWE Championship against Rob Van Dam, One Night Stand 2006. Now, I was there for this match, and you're going to be hearing that a lot in this Top 50 Countdown. But yes, I was there. I was quite inebriated by the time the main event came about. And, I mean, you could watch this on the network, you could watch this on DVD, you could see just how electric this crowd was, how anti-Cena this crowd was. It was Cena in '06, he's at the height of his just boring Super Cena. You know, there was such a backlash towards him, and Cena's come a long way. I mean, today I consider him one of the best wrestlers there are walking the planet today. But back then, I had no care for this man. I was a super huge RVD fan, super big ECW guy, and being there for this show. I mean, granted, this show was the beginning of the terrible WWE ECW show. This was the birth of that, but the silver lining was you did get this awesome moment with the such hostile New York City Hammerstein Ballroom crowd for John Cena. It might be the most electric, just little environment I've ever been in, and seeing RVD win the title against John Cena, and it was like a party. It's like we all won. It was such a celebration. I'll never forget it. It was just amazing being there. I was in the 7th row. It was fucking incredible. I just can't put it in this list because I don't really care for the match. Like, I like the match. I respect the match. It was well laid out. Cena did a great job given the circumstance and the setting, playing a good heel, kind of flipping and being a heel for the scenario. But it just, the match was okay, and I fucking hate the ending with Edge coming out and all of a sudden Heyman's the ref because whatever. The ending was ridiculous, but you know what? It was the moment. It was the win, and I'll never forget it, so I got to mention it. All right, let's get down to the top 50 favorite Denny Lugz matches of all time. All right, at number 50 is going to be Randy Orton defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship versus Batista and Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania 30. Now, this is barely making it in here because I was there live and because of the moment that it was. It was easily the most emotional moment I ever had watching a live wrestling match because I cried like a fucking baby, you know. Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, he's my favorite wrestler of all time, and this was such an emotional ride and roller coaster just to get to this damn match because of all the bullshit and the Batista coming back out of nowhere and winning the Royal Rumble in 2014 when anybody booking this fucking show should have been putting Daniel Bryan as the winner of that. It's ridiculous. It made no sense, you know. He was the most popular guy on the roster. It was like Austin not winning the Royal Rumble in 1998. It just makes no sense. It was his time to go. It was his time to win the title at WrestleMania. It was all written in the stars, and it was all fucked up. He wasn't going to be on the show. He wasn't even going to be on the show. The main event was just going to be Randy Orton and Dave Batista. But everybody made their voices heard, and with Punk leaving, it kind of stirred things up a little bit, and things just worked out the way they did. It's crazy how it did, and I was there, and you kind of knew he was going to win, but you still didn't believe it with all the bullshit and all the screw jobs and all the, you know, way that, Bryan was getting fucked, and the fact that they went with him and he actually did it and he had his moment, it's just one of my favorite moments ever in professional wrestling. And the match is good. It's more of an angle match with all the overbooking and the run-ins and Daniel Bryan getting taken out and leaving on the stretcher and coming back. So it's a lot of kind of stuff you've seen before, but it all worked, and it just makes for a memorable moment and a memorable match. All right, number 49, John Cena defending his United States Championship against Cesaro on Monday Night Raw, July the 6th, 2015. This, to me, is my favorite match during the John Cena U.S. title open, whatever you called it, challenge that he was doing throughout the spring and summer of 2015. And this is when John Cena really, I gave him a lot of respect for some other matches he did in previous years, but this solidified him for me. He really killed it in these string of matches throughout this year. And this is my favorite one. More so than the Kevin Owens stuff and some of the matches he had on pay-per-view. This was the one that just, man, this is one of the best main events on Raw, really, for me. It just, the intensity was there. This was like Cesaro's shining moment, like almost a crowning achievement, getting such a great match with John Cena, and how this didn't lead to a giant singles push is beyond me. This match was so incredible. The intensity, just back and forth action, the drama. It was wonderful. It really delivered out of nowhere. At number 48, CM Punk defending the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. WWE Over the Limit 2012. This match is an overlooked match. My favorite match from CM Punk's long title run, which, he was pretty much, it's kind of fucked during the whole run when you think about it. He had it longer than anybody in the modern era, but he really didn't main event a whole lot of pay-per-views. He was kind of like still second banana to Cena, and I get it, but I feel like it could have been a little bit more even between the two. It still felt really lopsided towards Cena's favor of being like the main focus of everything. But CM Punk, he's fallen out of my favor a little bit since leaving and the way he did and everything, but I can't deny he's one of my favorites of all time still. I love the character. I like his matches. He's more of a character guy for me than the matches, while on the other hand, Daniel Bryan is just, I love his matches, and they got to work each other here in the WWE. It was just like it was an indie fan's dream, and two guys from Ring of Honor that they really didn't have a program in Ring of Honor, but they had a program this summer of 2012. And this was the best match they had. This felt like a good combination between like an indie style match and WWE style, like all the best components mixed in together, like a modern day Benoit Angle type of wrestling in that kind of way. But it's a shame, and people are not really gonna remember this match that much. But it's one of Daniel Bryan's better matches in WWE. It's one of CM Punk's better matches in WWE, and had a very inventive finish. And yeah, I'll never forget watching this one for sure. Number 47. All right, this is going to be a mouthful. It's from the ECW Barely Legal pay-per-view in 1997, the first one ever. For me, the match of the night. The Great Sasuke, Gran Hamada, and Masato Yakushiji versus the BWO Japan, consisting of Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, and Dick Togo, who were all Kaientai in WWF. But yeah, I didn't see this match when it happened. I probably didn't see it until 99, when ECW was putting out a lot of DVDs at the time, and I was able to pick them all up, all the original ECW DVDs before they went out of business. I got to see the first ever ECW pay-per-view, and this was one of those matches where when I saw it in 99, I didn't think you can see a match like this. I never saw that 3-on-3 kind of Japan-style, Dragon Gate style, almost lucha style even, of that 3-on-3 where it's just kind of like the no tag, you just jump in, and fast chain wrestling, high flying, just ridiculous, just nonstop balls to the wall action, and that's what it delivered. And I watched this match so many times, it just blew my mind, and it just really opened my mind to seeing that kind of style of match. And I've seen plenty much since then, and there's probably better matches since then in ROH and a lot of those Dragon Gate style challenge matches. But you know what? This was the first one. This was the one that stuck in my mind. This is the one that I watched a million times, and it's one of my favorites, obviously. Number 46, The Briscoes versus Kevin Steen and El Generico, the Boston Street Fight from ROH's Death Before Dishonor Night 1 in 2007. Now, you're going to see a lot of ROH in 2007 come up on this list. I really, going back and looking at that year, it's so many good matches, man. And now, Kevin Steen and El Generico, they had a great feud with the Briscoes in 07. They had a lot of great matches. A lot of people really say the ladder war that they had at Man Up, that's the one of the greatest matches in Ring of Honor history. I like that match. It's good. But it's one of those, a lot of spots for the sake of spots. And you could say the same about this match, but the way this match flowed, the street fight, it just really works for me. I feel like it's probably my personal favorite when it comes to just those garbage walk-in brawls, 2-on-2, almost like a Dudley Boys match in ECW, which I love, but, they don't really hold up today. It's kind of a lot of walk-in bullshit and a lot of, like, ridiculous shit. But you know what? This one, the intensity, it's a phrase I use a lot, but the intensity was there, and the brutality was there, and the spots were just insane, ridiculous, just chair spots, just jumping, diamond cutters off the guardrails, and just a lot of bumps on chairs, and just really vicious shit. Everybody was bloody. The crowd was going fucking crazy. I mean, this is one of the more intense Boston crowds for any show I've seen. Boston isn't always the greatest crowd, but goddamn, man, this match, I put it over the ladder match. But you know what? If I have to do a duplicate mention here, I'm gonna say check out the Man Up ladder match as well, just because also the spots are ridiculous there. It's one of the best ladder matches ever. And after the match, it was the debut of the Age of the Fall, which was Jimmy Jacobs, Tyler Black, and the Necro Butcher. Now, if you don't know who Tyler Black is, then maybe look at Seth Rollins' Wikipedia and you'll find out. But you know what? This was the debut of Tyler Black to a main promotion, and look at where he is today. So that was a great moment. They hung Jay Briscoe upside down while he was bleeding, and it bled all over Jimmy Jacobs' white jacket. It's just it's an iconic image for ROH. It's insane. So check out that match too. But of course, at number 46, I got to go with the Boston Street Fight. Number 45, Tyler Bate defending his UK Championship against Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver Chicago. Yeah, that's right. This match just happened. This match just happened. And you know what? I love this match that much. It's incredible. It's just one of these matches that you see it, you love it right away. It delivers everything you want in a wrestling match. Just it had almost everything besides a really like deep storyline. I mean, all you need to know is that they faced off in the finals for the first ever UK Championship, and this is Pete Dunne's rematch, and he beat Tyler for it in an incredible match. There was fighting spirit, there was the intensity, there was the spot where they would just punch each other just straight in the face and trading blows, the technical wrestling, the submissions, the joint manipulation, just everything about this match. It flowed beautifully, no wasted motion, so exciting. The crowd was so hot. What a great match. I really think this one's going to stand the test of time. One of the best matches in NXT history so far. And I expect a lot of great things from them. Maybe throughout the years, this match might even climb higher on my list. But as it stands right now, being so new, number 45. All right, number 44, you have Kenta, also known as Hideo Itami, defending his GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship against Low Ki at ROH Final Battle 2005. I don't have a whole lot to say about this match, besides that it's incredible. It's like a 5-star match, in my opinion. It's just brutal, stiff kicks, great reversals, just an exciting match. Like, there's not a whole lot of like specific spots that stand out in my mind besides like the big double stomp off the top rope, but just like the stiffness of this match, it really stands out in my mind. It's a little low on the list, but you know what? I put it over a lot of other stuff that in this same vein, just because I like these two participants so much. I think they're great wrestlers, and this is one of the best matches in Ring of Honor history. Check it out, Final Battle 2005. Number 43, Cesaro versus Sami Zayn, NXT Arrival in 2014. This was the first ever NXT TakeOver type event, and this was the opening match, and it was the match of the night. These guys really delivered something dramatic. This was the end of their little mini feud in NXT. Cesaro was already on the main roster at the time, but he came down to work with Sami Zayn. Kind of made a name for Sami Zayn in WWE at the time, who had come in after being El Generico. This was his first really noteworthy feud, and it kind of got everybody behind him. I mean, the storytelling here is just phenomenal. Just Sami kind of gets shut down early on, and then he's fighting underneath every step of the way. Just every time he shows a little bit of hope, he gets cut off, and just the drama of that building. And, you know, Cesaro yelling at him to stay down, and the incredible fighting spirit kick out at one after a hard fucking European uppercut. Just like, that's the kind of stuff that gets you excited. That's the kind of stuff that makes you love professional wrestling. And even the Regal's commentary in this match is incredible, just the way he breaks down everything, and Cesaro's offense. It's just such a delight to watch this match. It's really deep. Yeah, and everything's wrapped up a little bow at the end with the show of respect. It just leaves you with a smile on your face. It's just a great match. All right, coming in at number 42 is Sasha Banks defending the NXT Women's Championship against Bayley. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in 2015. This is unfortunately going to be the only women's match I have on the list here. It's just I have such a long history of, you know, women's wrestling just wasn't good for so long, and we're finally in an era where it's great. And this is the match that defines that. There's a lot of great matches now, but this is my favorite one. I was there live, and it was an emotional moment to be there for Bayley to win her first championship in WWE. And the kind of like the curtain call at the end with all of the quote-unquote 4 horsewomen coming out. It was a great moment. And I'm so fucking pissed that I had all this video footage of that night, and I can't find it. It's all gone. But whatever, that's not the point. The point is, this match was incredible. The drama in this match, the psychology of Bayley had the fucked up hand, and Sasha was stomping on the hand, working the hand. It was ridiculous. The reverse Hurricane Rana off the top rope. I mean, these girls did spots that you never thought you'd see women do before. Now, maybe this wasn't the first really awesome women's match in NXT to kind of get the ball rolling. That might have gone to like Paige and Emma at the first Arrival, or maybe even Charlotte and Natalya when they wrestled for the NXT Women's Championship. But you know what? This is the one that set the bar. I mean, this one has set the bar since this match happened. And there's been a lot of great women's matches since then. But you know what? This is still the one that I think is the best. With, of course, an honorable mention as a duplicate to this match is the Iron Woman match that they had at TakeOver Respect in the same year. And I really think, you know what? At the time when I watched the Iron Woman match, I thought it was better. Yeah, I thought it was better than a TakeOver Brooklyn match. I mean, really, honestly, both these matches just they're about the same amount of good. But I got to give the edge to TakeOver Brooklyn for the win, for the title win, for the moment, and for being there live. So there it is. Number 41, you have Kane versus Shane McMahon in the ambulance match from Survivor Series 2003. This match isn't that great. Watching it again recently, it doesn't hold up in my memory as well as it did for the years I was watching it after it happened. But this is one of my favorites because I've gone back to it so many times, and I guess that's what makes a favorite match, a match that you want to see over and over again. And I watched it so many times. I just loved some of the spots in here are silly. They're a little preposterous, I'm not going to lie. But there's some stiff stuff with Kane opening the ambulance door, with Shane opening the ambulance door, blasting Kane in the face. The tombstone on the cement just looks so ridiculous. I mean, you know that Shane was protected there, but just the way it was done done to perfection. It looked brutal. Just these cinematic moments with them going behind the backstage and Shane running over Kane with a truck and it's like send it, like for sending the ambulance. It was ridiculous. Just hilarious moments watching this with your friends, and just the way the match ended, and Kane put Shane's lifeless body in an ambulance, and the way they drive off with the slow chemical playing. Just it looked like the ending to a movie, like kind of like a horror movie just ended, and this was like, the ambulance is driving away, and you got the music going, and the credits are rolling, and it's just like, I don't know, there's something about that just, it strikes a chord with me, and it really it's something that lasts with me. Alright, that's it for part 1. Stay tuned as we continue the countdown of the top Denny Lugz matches.